So guys, today we're going to do a little review of things that you should have learned in elementary school 6th grade. So I'm not going to give you all the answers, but I'm going to remind you how to solve it. You're going to have to hit pause on the video at certain times and finish the work. So they're giving us a data set. Ignore the little blue triangles, my thing is broken. And when I get a data set, the first thing I do is I try to put the numbers in order from least to greatest, and I'm going to cross them out as I go. So I have 45, and then it looks like 50, and 60, and let's see, I have 1, 2, 3 of the 75s. I got to write them all. 1, 2, 3. And you want it to be on one long line. And so then I have 84. And I cross it out in case I find a mistake. I can fix it. 90, 97, and 110. So anytime you're giving a data set and they want you to calculate things, putting it in order from least to greatest is going to be your first step. So now, it wants us to find the range, the median, and the mean. I'm going to remind you how to do this. So range, when you're looking for range, all you do is take the highest minus the lowest. So I'm not going to do that for you. You can pause the video now, take your highest number minus the lowest, and fill that in for range. To find the median, remember that's the number that's directly in the middle. So you know how you can cross out, cross out, cross out, cross out, cross, 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 cross. Oh, maybe I'll show you this one because this one's tricky. So let's do the median together. Cross out, cross out, cross out, cross out. We got to find the middle. Cross out, cross out, cross out. It didn't work perfect. I'm left with 2 in the middle. If you're left with 2 in the middle, you're just going to add them together and then divide by 2. So if you do 75 plus 75 in your calculator, hit equals, then hit divide by 2, you'll find out that it's 75, and that's the median. So I did help you with that one. If it works out perfect to one number, then it's just that number. Then the last step is the mean. I saved this for last because it takes a little bit of work, but you have a calculator. To get the mean, you add up all numbers. I'm going to use the little hashtag sign instead of writing the word numbers. Okay, I mean these. And then you divide by how many you have. So here we had 10 pieces. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we would add all these up. Now guys, adding them up, you can make a mistake. So I would add it up twice. Make sure you get the same answer. Then you're going to divide it by 10. So please hit pause and finish all of this, okay? I'm going to erase my board. You should be hitting pause. All right, so now let's look at the next part. That should be a review that most of you remember. Okay, then, oops, I forgot to click the other tab. Oh, you're crazy, teacher. There's a tab right here. So this is some stuff that you might not remember. And so I want to show you some possible answers that will be nice to write here. So it's asking us if we made a dot plot. Remember a dot plot, you know, looks like this. And they do it with dots, okay? And it puts its data. So a dot plot. So they're asking, what should the dot plot look like if I'm going to use the mean to talk about things? And so here's the answer I want you to have. It needs to be symmetric data. That means one side of the dot plot matches the other side of the dot plot, okay? No outliers. Outliers are people that are either way low or way high. You see how all my data is kind of in the middle? No outliers. So that's kind of the answer that I want you to have here. And then it asks, how can you use the mean to analyze the variance of the data? Remember, variance of the data is all my data kind of the same in the middle? Or do I have some high ones, some low ones, some middle ones? Is it spread way far out? So one of the things we're going to learn about, it's called MAD. And you might want to write this on your paper. When you see the word MAD, it means mean absolute deviation. And we're going to learn later how to calculate that. But basically, the MAD tells you, is the mean a really good number, or is the mean kind of skewed? If I have some really high scores up here, it's going to make the average, the mean, come higher. if I have some really low scores down here, it's going to pull the mean lower. So I want the MAD to be small, not big. So here, I can use the value of the MAD to interpret the variance. So you may want to pause. These are some examples of things that we haven't talked about yet that I want you to get into your notes. So at this point, if you pause the video, I know that it's kind of a little bit of writing, but I want you to get that into your notes. I'm going to erase this and show you the next thing, okay? Okay, so now I can scroll down. All right, so I wanted to show you this also. So if we have the mean and the median, sometimes we want to use the mean to talk about our data, sometimes we want to use the median, and we need to decide which one's the best. Median is directly in the middle, it's not pulled this way or this way. The mean can be pulled by outliers in different directions. So if the mean is to the right of the median, then the graph is going to look like it's skewed left. So that means if I had a graph, okay, and skewed left means a lot of my data is over here and a little bit of my data is to the right, skewed left. If the mean is significantly to the left of the median, the graph would be skewed right. So all my data is kind of over here in the upper portion, and I have very few down in the left. And it may have an outlier. So an outlier would be a piece of data that's like way over here. An outlier could be a piece of data that's way down here. It's not by the rest of the data. If the mean and median are close in value, they're almost the same number, that's when my graph is symmetric. You know, where this data looks like this data. See how they look kind of the same? They're kind of in the middle. And there's no outliers. There's no weird high ones. There's no weird low ones. All the data is kind of in the middle, same together. So make sure you pause the video. You don't have to draw the pictures. I was just showing you the pictures for help. But make sure that you have all of these in your notes, okay? You can pause now. And I'm trying to think if there's one other thing I had to show you. Oops. Well, I don't want to give you the answer, so there we go. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so we're going to go back and use the data that we had before of Ben and his 10 friends' reading times. And it wants us to find the mean. Guess what? You found that at the beginning of this video. So just go back and get the answer. You have it. But what we have to do, they want us to find the MAD. The way we find the MAD is we're going to subtract the mean from every data point. So guys, we're going to take the chart, and give me a second. I'll try to flash the chart back up. Give me a second. Oops, there it is. So we're going to subtract the mean from each one of these. So I'm going to write it over here. So we have 45, 97, 75, 50, 60, 84, 75, 110, 75, 90. Now I'm going to scroll back where we were. You don't have to scroll. You'll have yours on paper, but I have to scroll. All right, so here's my data points. And I can't remember what the mean was. Hold on, let me check. I think that I got the mean to be, hold on, your crazy teacher forgot what it was. Oh yeah, 75. Okay, so what we're going to do, that means we're going to take 75 and we're going to subtract it from every number that's in the data set. So I'm going to do 45 minus 75 minus 75 minus 75 minus 75 minus 75 minus 75. Okay, now guys, I'm not giving you each one of these answers. You have a calculator. Some of these answers will be positive, some will be negative. I don't care if they're positive or negative. I just want the number. So literally type 45 minus 75. For example, it would be negative 30, but I'm just going to write 30. We're not worried here about positive or negative. We just want to know how many steps it is. Can you pause the video? You're going to do all the subtractions. I'm not giving you the answers. I'm giving you the steps. So step 1, subtract the mean from every data point. So go ahead and do these. Step 2, you're going to add all the answers. Please do this more than once. It's difficult. So when you get all the answers, you're going to add them up. Step 3, you're going to take the mean of them. So divide by 10 because we had 10 pieces of data. And that is the MAD. So the answer you get is the MAD. And remember, if we have a small MAD, then our data is close together. It's good. If we have a large MAD, our data is spread out and it's varied. I'm going to erase this. I'm not giving you the answers. You have to pause the video and stop it. Can I keep going? We good. All right. So make sure you have those steps. I have one last little thing I think that I want to show you. And I got to scroll down here. We're going to skip all this graphing calculator stuff. We're going to skip, we're going to skip all that. And then you should have a paper that looks, give me a second, that looks like this. Okay? So, a box plot of student test scores show that Q1 is 64, Q3 is 74, and the median is 68.5. Determine the interquartile range and then find the lowest and highest possible scores that would not be outliers. Okay, so interquartile range, remember, I, Q, R, you're just gonna take Q3 minus Q1. So 74 minus 64, so what does that give us? 10, okay? So the range is 10. And then it asks you to find the IQR. So here you're just going to do 1.5 times 10. I believe that gives you about 15. Double check me. Okay, so if I'm talking about outliers, it wants to know the highest possible score. So I'm going to take 15 and add it to Q3. So what does that give me? 74, 84, 89. And then I'm going to take 15 and subtract it from my lowest quartile. So 64, 54, what is that, 49? Double check me, okay? So just using those things to help us, the lowest possible score, because an outlier is the highest score or the lowest score, and that means it's 15 points added to it or 15 points subtracted. So if you want to know how I got this, remember I did 74 plus 15, and over here I did 64 minus 15 to get down to the lowest, okay? So to get the highest and lowest. I'm going to erase, make sure you pause the video and you have it. All right, so then if I keep scrolling, use the dot plot to answer the following questions. So if a point were added at 5, so 5 would be, what are they counting by? This would be 10, this would be 5. If I added a piece of data here, does it change the number that's in the middle, the mean, or both? So I added a score, so that means the middle is going to shift, right? It's going to shift this way a little bit. And if it's a low score, it's going to take that mean and pull it down. So I think both. If a point were added at 55, so let's do 50, 55. Now we're shifting things this way. I think that it's a high score, so it would raise the mean. It's not going to lower it, but it's definitely going to change it. A high score pulls your, think about your grades. When you get a good grade, it pulls it up. When you get a low grade, it pulls it down. All right, the mean price to feed 13 traveling players and 2 coaches is $265. So the mean is $265. So remember, they want us to find the MAD. All we have to do is subtract. So set up your subtraction. We're going to subtract the mean from here. Use your calculator. And remember, we don't care about positive and negative. We just want to know how many steps away it is, okay? So I'm not giving you the answers. Pause it and fill it in. After you subtract, on your paper, you're going to add your answers. And then after you add your answers, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4 answers. So we're going to divide by 4, and that will give us the MAD. So at this point, you need to pause and do these calculations yourself. I'm going to erase. Hopefully you have this. Go backwards if you don't. Okay? All right, so we're almost there, almost there, almost there. Thank you, Alara, for videotaping for me. I'm sure your arm's getting tired. The 3 remaining meal costs must not change the mean, but the team wants to go to the rib rack with an expected cost of $480. What are the possible team meal prices? Oh, you know what? We don't have time for this. Let's skip this one. I'm running out of time on my video. Explain what the MAD indicates about the variability of the team meal prices. Remember, if we have a small MAD all of the teams' meal prices are pretty much the same. If our mat is big, it means their meal prices are spread out. So basically we need to write that in our own words. Guys, hit pause, make sure you have all of these assignments done and turned in the bin before you leave here, or take it home with the video and finish it for homework. You can hit pause or stop or whatever.